I'm so not ready for the show that we're supposed to be doing right now.
As I stretch it.
I know. Wow. You're talking over me. You're kind of rude. So today we're going to go with Spark Plug. I'm just kidding. You're not rude. Yeah, you are. You totally are. I don't know why I'm taking that back.
Oh, I like
Anyways,
that. Spark plug.
I figured you would. I saw that and I was like, this is going to
That caught my attention.
Yeah. You know how many times I've used this? A couple.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was your first time.
No, it's not. So also, we should talk about masks and different things that we can use for a face mask. I've seen some women and men have been using bras.
Oh, don't give away. We got a good video. You didn't see the video of that?
I didn't see the video.
No, I got
But then I also saw, too, where a woman took a sock. Why can't I talk about things I've seen?
Because I have
haven't
a really
seen your
good video
video.
on that. Funky slide guitar music as it fades out, and it brings in a
Moody
Monday! Wow, you're on it today.
Because I'm pissed. No,
well, maybe you need to be pissed more than.
It usually happens when I walk in studio fairly quickly.
Of that. No, fun weekend on that. I bet everybody's just full of stories on what great things they did all during the weekend as we roll through coronavirus.
I went from my bedroom to the living room. It was exciting. It was a thrill. You got nothing to say to that.
Wow.
What?
And I get it. Man, this is something, and let's go back to Friday's show because you said you want to talk about something happy, and Pop called in. And the pertinent question I asked him was, are you going stir crazy or anything? And he said no.
How's he now?
Absolutely fine. Just like I said, it takes Roy 2 and 3, who other than a couple of maybe the grocery store hours being closed a little bit, or you have to readjust your hours, has basically not affected my life hardly at all because of that. And then again, it's like I say, you set up your world to do that. If you want to set up your world in that 3x5 screen, or you want to compact
sanity.
If you want to compact your world, if you think it's bad now, if you let these yo-hos talk you into density and that and packing you in like rats like New York City, guess what? It doesn't get any better. Like I said, if you want to have freedom, one of the main things was personal property rights that they put in there, and that's why they did that. Because people if you've got space, if you've got things, and you got stuff to do, okay, well, whatever, you're doing that.
I think it's more that people are being told they can't do it, so then that is what it's like, that trigger in their mind where they panic, like, oh my gosh, I can't go and do this. And then plus spring break was coming up. I had a bunch of plans for me and my kids to do. I had my own personal plans too, to go up to Oregon and see my friend, and that all got shut off. So I think that just having all that happen too, and then a lot of people are not working. Some people are losing their jobs. I mean, I think it's a lot more than just going stir crazy. Don't you think? I mean, a little bit?
Yes, in part of it, but again, if you set
up... But
I
see your point, too.
That's what I'm saying. If you set up your, and that's what it isn't so much of the, whether the 5G network is going to, you need the tinfoil hat to, keep the radio waves from going through you or whatever, and you can debate that theory one way or the other. And, but it is... As they said, and I think they put the report out there a while ago, that the cell phone was supposed to make our world bigger and open us up to that, and what the evidence has shown is it's made our world smaller.
Why?
Because
opened my eyes.
Because that's what you get. Your world sinks into you're depending on this for everything. You look at that, you can't wait to that, or is somebody messaging me, or I got to look at this, And consequently, you don't see what's out there in the whole wide world of that. And that's what they said. It's made people less social. They don't see as many. They don't talk to people. They don't interact. They they interact through going tick, 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 tick on the phone. Yada yada yada. Look in
Yada yada yada.
Look at it. But it is.
No, and I think you have a point. But also at the same time, I think if people learn how to use it for good, you can find so much more around you that you didn't know existed. I mean, there's a ton of businesses and stuff that I found from my 3x5 screen, which is a lot bigger than that. So I think it has its ups and its downs. It depends on how you utilize it.
Yes.
I think the younger generation is going a little too far with it, though. And they take stuff too personal, too.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying is if you use the phone as a phone or a tool, fine. If you use it, if it becomes your world, that's where you run into problems. And we talk about it with the schools and everything else and da-da-da-da-da. Jesse, look in the IEN. We got a late start because the Trump press conference ran late, and I didn't have time to set up the videos. But look in the IEN one about the one. Go ahead.
Look in the IEN thing.
Yeah, look in the IEN.
Before you do that, we got to do our giveaway.
Yes,
because we got to start it. You said before 5:15 or 5:10. Anyways, we have a $5 Chili's gift card, and I'm going to do a little disclaimer, but our main disclaimer is on our Facebook page, and I'll add it in the comment section as well. No family members or relatives of the radio show are allowed to win, so like half the people watching, sorry.
Wow.
No, can't be the same winner for 2 weeks in a row. We need your full name, a mailing address, and a phone number, which do not put it in the comments, please. I will message you, and I will get the details so that way not everybody knows. What else am I forgetting? Must be 18 years older to win, and you have to reside in the Inland Empire. Anything else?
What's the question?
Okay, so we're going to do a trivia, and it's going to be called How Wired Are You on IA Newswire?
There you go.
He's not, clearly. Okay, so we're going to do 2 questions. This is the first one, and the other one will be at a later date within the show. I can't tell you, obviously. So our first question is, can I get a drum roll?
Drum roll.
Yeah, he wasn't ready. Okay, so
first
person to comment the answer wins. So the question is, what color is Roy's t-shirt in today's post promoting our giveaway? And it was posted about 5 hours ago on IA Newswire. First one to comment in will win, and I will send you a private message probably after the show. Good luck.
There you go.
Okay, carry on with whatever the hell you were trying
to
do.
So I looked at the one. Get the video of the one. You will see it. The one that deals with the woman's clothing thing. I think it's a UK one, an IN 11 message. Pull that video up. No, the one of that. Of course, my computer crashes right at the opportune time of doing this too. So, but you will see it in there. It's a very interesting thing. Kind of what the one to my left was talking about.
So you can't win. So it
yeah, on the mask. It's about mask. It was a very unique mask that you could use on coronavirus.
Oh, did I already mention it?
You were getting close. That's why I was going. I got a good video of it on the. What? No. But no, look in. It's like in the first 3 or 4 of them in there. Read off the titles, and I'll tell you which one it is.
Brandon got it. Congratulations, Brandon. I'll bug you later for all your details. Yay! You got a $5 gift card to Chili's.
Yay!
His t-shirt in the promotion that we ran today was green.
Oh, it wasn't the same one I'm wearing, is it? Oh. I had a different green one on?
Yep.
Good.
I found it. You said it's one of you.
Yes. Is it that hard to figure out?
You have like 8 videos there.
Well, you should be paying attention to that when I send them in. That way you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
That way you give me 30 minutes to prep.
Some days you don't have that. Sometimes you got to mix and slip and slide, dip and dive on this stuff when you're rocking and rolling like that. So this is a very interesting mask that you can use, or somebody came up with, on that. So it's from our partners over there in Great Britain, as I said. On that, when you've got the video, just roll it because it's pretty.
Have you seen this video that's doing the rounds at the minute? Have a look at this. Get your specs on.
Specs back on.
There's a world shortage of masks due to the coronavirus, and I think we've come up with an alternative idea. It's just a simple thong, everyday thong that we ladies wear all the time, and I'll just demonstrate.
Cool.
It just goes over the head like that.
Look at how neat
Wow.
it
Just behind the ears. We're all trying to stay safe in the Bowles household. That's Rob staying safe. I don't know if my mum's quite got the
I don't know how safe you
idea.
could be with that, but
Mum will have to dig you a
there's
thong.
Grandma with the
Yay!
setup on there.
Now, obviously, that is not genuine advice.
That's
So did
awesome.
you ever get to think to get the point?
See, it's a good thing I don't pay attention to our show threads.
we
that
would be
send all day.
using your thong for a mask.
I love it.
Oh, that's how crazy we're getting in all this stuff going back and forth. We're gonna preview it here in a little bit. I thought again we're gonna have Dr. Kelly Victory on in after the bottom of the break when we come on to KMET on the deal, and we'll get into the serious stuff. But I thought I'd lighten it up a little bit on the
Thank
whole deal,
goodness.
so I don't get flogged with the whack-a-mole stick over
Oh,
there.
I forgot about that. I'm gonna bedazzle it. What color should I make my stick? My Roy beating stick. It's fun. I have myself with it too, so your mom probably doesn't like me anymore.
Yeah, she was rather. She thought you were beating me with the ruler that Jesse was
Oh
talking
no,
about. I
it's
said-
just cardboard.
I
It
said
doesn't-
no. It was off the aluminum foil from the
Yeah.
tinfoil hats on that. If you would have been thumping
Sorry,
me
Mom.
if you'd have been hitting me with the ruler, I might have been a little bit upset about that. But
You probably would have been. Never mind. Anyways,
the cardboard off the aluminum foil one was okay. No, we're lightening up. Our next guest coming up is going to lighten it up a little bit more. He's a humorist and an author, and he had an interesting photo that he put up that kind of piqued my curiosity, like the thong did.
that one I saw. That one was cute.
Of that going back and forth. So, and we've been talking about, you've heard it, don't touch your face, and we actually got a serious video on that. And I sent an email. I think you may have seen it. I sent an email to that as a follow-up because
Yes,
we
I
have
did.
we have some more information about touching your face in gloves and the Granada. The question I asked from the La Granada Elementary School in Alvord, where the staffer had the gloves on and touched the kids' lunches, and they said, well, no, there's, Dr. Kaiser, the Riverside County health official, said it's remote that anybody would get infected off of that. Well, the video that was posted on ABC would be a little bit, might suggest that, Roy might have a couple of interesting questions to ask, and maybe you should research and answer them instead of I having to go out and research some more. But we'll deal with that later. Because we have our very special guest coming on, I think first time on the show. He's an author, humorist. I think he's got a new book out, Wild Blue.
Ooh.
And what caught my attention is he's mentioned, as I'm showing on our video cast, he mentioned WD-40 and duct tape. And I mean, that's right up my hillbilly alley on that. But, we've been, as we said, through all this I'm going to say it again. Coronavirus, COVID-10 stuff, they said, don't touch your face and stuff. And I mean, I'm probably the most guilty of that because if anybody that watched the video cast of our show, I mean, I'm always touching my face.
Your
doing
hands are
this.
everywhere.
Yes,
at all times.
on all that. So, I mean, I probably touch it 40 times. I probably touch it 10 times more than anybody else. And this guy came up with, he went to his of all places, he went to his veterinarian to come up with the solution to the problem of touching your face. But welcome to the show, authorist, humorist, Earl Trout. You're on with Stephanie and Roy on IE Newswire Daily.
Well, thank you, Stephanie and Roy. And
Yep, the vet took care of the problem, absolutely. And thank you for inviting me on the show. This is a thrill.
We got the picture of that, and I'm sure
I
most
love it.
people who've had dogs or cats or something that had an injury or something, and the vet didn't want them to, scratch their face or something because they had stitches or da-da-da-da-da. Well, we have the picture that Earl sent out on that with them, and he's got the same plastic garb, as you can see, that hooks to your neck and goes out over your face. I mean, I thought that was not only hilarious, but actually a brilliant way to stop touching your face.
Well, thank you. It worked. I've gotten over it now, but I hate to say it, but I do miss picking my nose. I just got
Yes,
completely out of the habit,
yes. I mean, I like I said, I don't know if you heard it at the beginning of the show, but I mean, if you see me, I mean, I'm like Mr. Hands animated. I mean, I'm always touching my face. My hands are going everywhere. I should have been a sign language person because I'm like all over the place. I mean, I talk with my hands. I do that. I work with my hands. Have all my life. Built race cars, construction, on this and all drove them and all that stuff. I mean, I'm just a hands-on person of that. And I mean, it sans that, and I'm probably not going to model the same
We should
wardrobe
get you one. Why?
that Earl is, but that would probably be about the only way you would get me not to touch my face, because I mean, even when I'm thinking of it, I just do it.
Yep, I understand. It's a lot of people have that issue. It's a tough one.
It's tough.
I mean, in normal times it's not tough, but in these times, you gotta try to be conscious of it.
Yes, it is, and it is a serious subject, and we will get into it later because we had an incident out here with a staffer at a school that was, that had coronavirus and was touching the kids' lunches and all that stuff, and So yeah, it is in this time. It is kind of a, we're all kind of, even no matter where you are on the scale or that or out there of having to do that or having to deal with it, whether you're in like New York City where it's ground zero, or you're out in the fruited plains where there's not much to it. We all should be, and it's probably good advice of doing this, of learning not to do these kind of things or something, or kind of be conscious of it. Maybe I can get her to spit it out there, but I mean, like I said, I thought it was an absolutely brilliant, hilarious thing you came up with, showing that on there. Talk about your book, Wild Blue. I mean, I haven't seen it, but when I seen the part about WD-40 and duct tape, I mean, I said, I got to get this guy on because he's talking my language.
Well, you know what? Those two things are very key ingredients in the entire novel, and it doesn't make sense till you get about halfway through and you see what's happening, and indeed duct tape and WD-40 do save the world from terrorists, or at least they save Southern California, which is a start on the world. And the book is what you would call a techno-thriller, action-adventure, romantic comedy.
Wow.
If I had room to put in a cowboy, we could make it part Western too, but there just wasn't any room to add that in there. But it's probably in my humble opinion, the funniest and most exciting romance novel anybody's ever read. I don't read romance novels.
Whoa. Romance novel and terrorists in Southern California. How does that all hook up?
You'll have to read the book, Roy. It's just, that's the same thing the first agent I got said, and the second, and the third agent went, wow, I like this. And a lot of publishers went, what do you mean techno-thriller romantic comedy? What? But the agent did his job, found somebody, and the book came out about 2 weeks ago. We're doing well, getting good reviews, and would love to have your audience try it out.
Now, where can our viewers go and download your book? Can they purchase it on Amazon?
Yes, all of the above. Actually, right now it's only on Amazon, and it can be either a book, a paperback, or the e-book, the Kindle version. And just go to Amazon, and you can do a search for my name, Earl Trout, and the book, which is the full title is Wild Blue: Saving the World with Duct Tape and WD-40. But you can find it on Amazon just with Earl Trout, and Trout like the fish, and Wild Blue, and it'll come up. I'd give you the actual link, but nobody could remember it. It's hard to even write it down. It's so long, so it's easy to do a search.
There you go. We got it up on our video cast of the shows the helicopter of that with the in the sunset coming in. I assume it's coming into Southern California where the terrorists are.
Well, yeah, it's. I don't want to give it all away. Yes, it's coming. Actually, it's coming from San Diego Naval Air Station up to Malibu, basically. But I don't want to tell you any more. But it's part of the issue, and there's a lot of surprises, a lot of twists and turns, and some of our readers have said things like it's like going to see the movie result of Romancing the Stone and Back to the Future. If they combine those two, you would get Wild Blue. So that's a good thing, I think, unless you're too young to even know those old movies, which I think were brilliant movies.
Really? That's that, and you know the old what's the acronym of assume? What the letters spell out on that.
Yes, I know, but we're on the radio.
Yes,
so.
well, no, it makes an ass of you and me. We can say that on there, but you made the assumption that I can read. That's why I was asking you the question, so that when you said, well, you'll have to read the book, you were assuming I knew how to read.
One of my reviewers, I just remembered this. I haven't read this or seen this for a long time, but one of my reviewers, I've got about a dozen, 15 really good reviews from notable people, which I am proud of and made me feel good. But one of the guys said, he summed up his feeling about the book, and he said, if Jerry Seinfeld and Albert Einstein had a baby, it would be Wild Blue.
Wow, that's one hell of a combination there.
Well, it's the book is different. I will say that. But,
You put those two in a blender and blend them in together. Yeah, you got a wild combination like that. Wrap it up here in about 30 seconds, Earl. Tell them where they can get your book and.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. And by the way, the book started as a screenplay, which came within about 80 seconds of being made into a major movie with a couple of major stars, but that's Hollywood. It didn't happen, so we turned it into a book. It's available. Wild Blue: Saving the World with Duct Tape and WD-40 is available at Amazon.com. Easiest way to find it is put in Earl Trout like the fish. I think I'm the only one in there with a book. But that will do it, and have fun.
You got it, Earl Trout, the guy that
sounds like a really great book.
Yes, the guy that came up with the cure or the way to eliminate you from the habit of touching your face. Thanks for being on, Earl.
Thank you, Roy. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
That sounds like a wild book.
It does. It sounds like a fun book.
It sounds like one that's got a lot of turns and twists in it.
Especially right now, I think everybody can
yes,
use that,
you've got nothing else to do. Buy Earl's book and tell us what you think of it. See, it sounds like it, yeah. I mean, when you're talking about terrorists coming into invading Southern California, it turns into a romance novel. Who
you
knows?
Never know. I want to get it.
Wow.
Can I borrow some money to get a book? I'm just kidding. Dave says he thinks he'll like it. Dave, if you read it, let us know how you liked it. Give us a little bit of feedback. I'm sure it'll be a great book.
Yeah, that's
duct tape and WD-40. How do you go wrong?
Yes, I mean, how can?
I don't see where you would.
Yeah, how he puts that all together is intriguing enough as it is. On you gotta.
Well, but I mean, we're talking about the brilliant man that came up with the dog cone for not touching your face. I mean, that's genius.
Yes,
it really is.
It is. I mean,
I never even knew they made him see through though. But that's just I love it. Just get the whiteout ones and then really make it a game. See if you can get around.
Yes. You'd be crashing into the walls and everything
Be
because
fun.
you can't see.
I crash into walls anyways, even when I can't see. All the time. I swear they come out of nowhere. I get it from my mom.
The
She
walls,
cursed me.
they move, don't they?
They do. I swear they do. I'm serious. They mess with you. Like stick out a little bit and then go back in. Pisses me off. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. I don't care if nobody believes me. You believe me, right?
Oh, yeah. Those walls.
See?
So you got to watch.
They do.
They'll just jump right out in front of you.
So many bruises all over me. It's sad. Those holes come out of nowhere too. It's like the earth just goes and then you trip.
We've been having some earthquakes, man. You mentioned that down around
I
here
love
lately.
it.
Down around the
It's so
Yanza
exciting.
area. Yes.
Do you like earthquakes? I love
Oh, I
them.
love them. And
My
Dr.
sister hates them.
Dr. Lucy Jones, which I think she's retired now, but she was like, she used to come on. She was a seismologist down at Caltech. She used to be the one that came on the TV. She was writing, but she's still on Twitter and stuff and still comments on this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think she still works part-time there, still associated, but I don't think she works full-time there anymore. But anyway, she said she said the ones that are happening in Anza, no danger of the San Andreas, which runs through San Bernardino, but the San Jacinto fault, which comes right through here, the Badlands and stuff like that, she said there's like a 1% chance that you could have a 6.0 quake.
Aren't we pretty close to the San Jacinto fault line?
No, I
Like,
said it.
am I pretty close to it? I feel like I'm closer than...
I said it comes down. Well, it breaks off the San Andreas right there in San Bernardino, and it comes like up through there, and then it goes right down the Badlands, headed down towards the Salton Sea through like Beaumont.
But does it go by my house?
Well, within
Ish.
probably about 4 or 5 miles.
So there could be an earthquake.
Let
on
me
that
tell
fault
you
line?
this: if there's a 6.0 or greater that happens on the San Jacinto, you are going to know it.
Am I gonna? Ooh, that'd be scary. I like the little ones. The little ones are fun.
No,
My kids are so excited because they've never felt an earthquake
depending where the
before.
epicenter. Let's say the epicenter of it is right there in the Badlands. Like right by Redlands Boulevard and the freeway.
Okay.
Let's say it busts on the San Jacinto right in that area. Yeah, you're gonna feel. If it's down in, I think it goes down to the Salton Sea, if I remember correctly, down in there in that area is where it maybe, and then it kind of turns and goes down towards Imperial El Centro down in there, if I remember right. If it's down in there, I mean, if a 6.0 happens down there, you're probably not. I mean, you're gonna feel it here, but it's not gonna be a rock and roller. If it's a 6.0 or one on the San Jacinto bus up there. And I think there's a potential in the San Andreas, which runs through there through San Bernardino. I think she said that one has a potential of one day having an 8 or greater, 7
That's
or 8 or
scary.
greater on that. So, and as you drive over the freeway bridges on the 215 and the 10 right there at San Bernardino, right by Toyota San Bernardino, those bridges are built right on the San Andreas Fault.
So never go under or on those bridges.
Well, you think about
Go
that
around.
when you're driving up on that.
Yeah, and I'm going to be breathing in a paper bag now. And that is going to wrap up Roy being an earthquake doctor and giving us some information on earthquakes now that I'm paranoid and panicking. It was fun, though. I like it. I like the earthquake. I enjoyed it. As long as
It
nobody
is.
gets hurt.
I think
it's a beautiful thing with nature when it does that kind of stuff, as long as nobody gets hurt.
I mean,
of
I
course,
would
everyone does.
I would rather have, me personally, I'd rather have the earthquakes and the tornadoes and the hurricanes and all that.
Ooh, I
stuff
would take thunder and lightning.
of that, because of the earthquakes are very few or far between.
I would think an earthquake's more damaging than... I mean, not a tornado, obviously. I think tornado and hurricanes are pretty bad.
Yeah, depending on the strength of them. I mean,
You watching, type in and tell us your favorite storm happenings, if that makes any sense. Jess, what's yours? Earthquake? You like the rain? That's what you're going with? Like a flood? A hurricane? All right. Hey, Sean, what's your favorite storm?
Hey, guys. I'm sorry, huh?
What's your kind of
Say that-
favorite storm? Like earthquakes, tornadoes, thunder, lightning? He laughs.
I don't know. Probably thunderstorms. I don't know. I kind of like snow myself personally.
I like your thunderstorms answer better.
Thunderstorm, yes, lightnings. Although, man, like I say, when that flash flood we had, like in 2012 or something,
That was awesome.
When the lightning strike hit the old cement plant, and I was sitting in there like that, I tell you what, I mean,
That sky was so
30
hot that
seconds.
year,
man,
though.
just the residual, impedance electricity coming off of that thing. I mean, I pretty much know about what it's like to be electrocuted because, like I say, it lights you up like
Dramatic.
like a deal. So there are lightning storm, but I love a good lightning storm. There's nothing cooler than
They're
that.
beautiful.
All right, guys, here we go.
They're glorious.
Tom today.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The proceeding was a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station.
Every Monday through Friday at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 KMET as we welcome in a Moody Monday. Well, we're back in sync again, man. I was getting a little nervous last week because we were like, we were
I thought we
definitely.
nailed it.
Well, today we did. Both times. That's why I say we're back on sync. Last week was a little shaky.
Well,
but-
I mean, you just got to work on it, Roy. But it's fine. We accept your mishaps and mistakes. It's all good. Sean would agree.
I don't think you're getting a lot of support on that one. But,
He's laughing. He's laughing on the inside.
we had a good first half hour for those of you watching on YouTube and IE Newswire Daily and on Facebook on that. We had Earl Trout, which came up with his absolutely fantastic idea got it from his veterinarian. I'm sure you've all had dogs and stuff, how they put the thing around their neck and it does that so if you have like an injury, they don't scratch it. Well, he had his veterinarian put that on him so he didn't touch his face going on with the coronavirus COVID-10 epidemic, and they're saying don't touch your face.
Yeah, it was really cute.
I've heard though that, and I heard one. It was a doctor epidemiologist said if you've washed your hands or something and stuff, you're okay. I mean, you go ahead and touch your face.
Right.
But we're going to follow up on. We're not done with the La Granada Elementary School and the gloves. Thinking of the stuff that went on all this week and what the ins and outs and twists and turns and everything that's been going on, not only here locally in Southern California, but all across the nation, and to separate the facts from the fear, we have our favorite doctor back on the air. Dr. Kelly Victory, welcome back to the show with Stephanie and Roy.
Hey, great to be back with you guys.
Most people don't say that.
They do for me, but not for Roy, especially when he forgets to give me
Yeah.
time to do my giveaway.
See, I'm getting those of you watching on the
Oh,
beat.
yeah.
Yes, there we go. I get flogged with a whack-a-mole stick
I had
again.
a second giveaway, but
Yeah.
it'll come at another time.
We had a lot of different things. I didn't get to send you it, but in Riverside County, the public health official, Dr. Kaiser, put an edict in Riverside County. Not only, I mean, he put the clamps on pretty much everything. I mean, no social gatherings, no even going over to your neighbor's house. If you go outside, you must wear a mask or face $1,000 fine. All of this of 2.5 million people, and we've had 19 deaths in Riverside County.
Yeah, just to make it clear, I'm in Riverside County right now,
Wow.
so I'm living the dream. I'm living the dream. So, yeah, in fact, as of midnight last night, as you said, we've got this most appallingly this mandatory face masks. If you're outside of your house, you are not allowed to leave your home to do anything, including ride a bicycle or go for a run or anything else, without wearing a face mask. Now, just to explain just how preposterous that is, in addition to being an egregious overreach of governmental authority, let's just review that on March 31st, 6 days ago, the Surgeon General and the CDC came out and doubled down over and over and over again about how not only should you not wear a mask if you're a layperson, because it wasn't helpful, but it could actually put you in harm's way because it would actually increase potentially your chance of getting the virus. Now, 5 days later, it's mandatory. You may not leave your home without wearing one. Now, this is not exactly the way to build public trust.
No, exactly not.
It's insanity. So, and then on top of it, as you said, then the next draconian piece is that they've decided now that they have essentially outlawed any social gatherings, regardless of size and regardless of venue. In other words, you are not, by law, allowed to meet in person with anyone other than those people who are already residing within your home.
Exactly. And
so I can't go like to my parents' house?
That's correct.
Correct. And but this is what, and I don't know if you're familiar with the case of Alvord School in Alvord Elementary District, or La Granada. I'll get it to spit it out here quickly. In Riverside, there was a staff member who contracted coronavirus. They were handing out. School was closed, but he was handing out meals. Because kids were still getting the lunches of that. He was handing out meals. Dr. Kaiser, about a week or so when this came out, said there's very remote that this had anything, or that could have been spread because he was wearing gloves. And I asked the question, well, the virus supposedly lives on plastic for 2 or 3 or 4 days. How would that, and he touched his face. How does that work? And the public information officer says, I don't want to speculate on this stuff, So I just sent them another email because I saw a video from a nurse on KBC7 in LA, and she's got gloves on, but she's saying you touch your face, your hands, your cell phone, and she's got paint on. Look at how it's touching, moving, anything else. I'm saying if the risk, as he put it out a week or so ago, was very remote that you would spread it from wearing gloves or touching lunches or stuff to now everything is locked down tighter than blank. Again, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, again, I will go back to the basics that we know about this virus, Roy. Number one, we know that it is highly contagious. And the fact that it's highly contagious is largely related to the fact that it's not particularly lethal. It's, as I always say, it's nature's little way of keeping us on this green earth. Viruses that are very, very lethal, meaning that they have a very high mortality rate, tend not to spread very far. Think of something like Ebola that has, a 70% mortality rate. Those things don't spread very far because people get sick with it, they become profoundly ill, and they die. On the other end of the spectrum are things like the common cold. And by the way, about 20% of common colds are actually caused by a coronavirus. Okay? These coronaviruses are out there all the time. Granted, COVID-19 is a new one that we hadn't identified before, but it doesn't mean that it's, the big, bad, awful thing that the quote-unquote experts in the government have led us to believe it is. So it's very, very contagious. It is like other respiratory viruses. It is spread primarily through water droplets when somebody sneezes or coughs or, blows their nose and then touches something like a doorknob or a countertop. Okay? So it's very contagious. Most people, in excess of 85% of people who get the virus, won't even know that they had it. The symptoms will be so mild or non-existent that they won't even know that they have it. So once again, I maintain that many of us already had the virus and recovered from it probably months ago and already have immunity. So the idea of, everybody all of a sudden now in the 11th and a half hour slapping on a mask, wearing gloves. I watch people who have gloves on touch everything and then touch their faces and then touch their groceries and then touch their shopping cart. The gloves are essentially useless And the face masks, as I said, are unnecessary for 99% of the population. Now, if I were a 65-year-old person with diabetes or was immunocompromised or had some other serious, significant health concern and was forced to go out in public, to go to the grocery store or to do something else, I might consider wearing a mask to protect myself from coming into contact. But for everybody to be doing this and for it to be mandatory and to limit all social contact, it defies logic. It isn't sound public health. It's not based on sound medical science at all. And frankly, I think this thing is spun so far out of control that I really am at a loss to figure out what the end game will be.
And his reasoning was, as I read it in the press releases, he made the contention by, I think, May 5th or the first week in May, if nothing is done or things were continue to go, there would be a mass, there wouldn't be enough hospital beds. There would be over 1,000 deaths. If we do this, the deaths will be 200. We'll be able to contain that. My second thing is today, as it was put out in the Gavin Newsom press conference, he is sending 500 ventilators to the national supply to be used elsewhere. Well, if we're about to hit this supposedly top of the curve crisis situation in California, why are we shipping out badly needed ventilators when they're saying in Riverside County, with the way I read Dr. Kaiser's press release, man, we're about ready to get hit like a bombshell.
Precisely right. And so it makes no sense. Once again, their actions don't fit with what they're trying to get, the average public to believe. Most, again, and I'm on a call on a nightly basis with hundreds of physicians from around the country discussing this and other issues. And I can tell you firsthand from talking with these folks that most hospitals are empty. There are a handful, and when I say handful, I mean literally, 5 around the country that are at or above capacity, which is not unusual. Elmhurst Hospital for one in New York City, one in New Orleans, one in LA County that's getting busy. Most hospitals are absolutely empty. Not only at capacity, but far, far below capacity. They're empty. And it's really going to be devastating because hospitals, if they don't have patients in them, they can't pay the bills. Hospitals are laying off staff left and right. There are nurses and PAs and surgical assistants and orderlies who are being paid to stay home. There simply are no patients in the hospitals. Waiting times in the average emergency department is half what it normally is because they simply are empty. So we have a absolute glut of ventilators in this country. I don't know what the heck we're going to do with all of the ones that we're making, all these extras that we're making. In fact, my business tip is to come up with a storage facility to store all this.
I'm working on that.
Yeah. I'll invest.
Because you're going to be buying ventilators for $500 a piece or something, and then when this next one comes out, you want these for like $50? They're going to cost you about $50,000 a piece.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really, really crazy. And again, I ask the question: how do they walk themselves back in from this? I don't have children, but I will tell you, one fundamental thing you need to know about dealing with kids or doing business is that when somebody backs themselves into a corner, you got to give them a way out. You got to give them a way to save face and get out of it. So how do we allow these guys to save face and get, when I say these guys, I mean people like Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci and the entire task force. How do we, let them back in off the ledge where they've walked? And what's going to end up happening, I believe, is that inevitably this thing's going to fizzle out. And then they have to be able to look themselves in the mirror and look at the American public and say, well, see, it was worth us doing all of this stuff. So yes, we've destroyed the economy, but had we not done that, millions of people would have died, which is patently absurd. Then, I listen every day to Andrew Cuomo, who says over and over again on a daily basis that, if I know these things are tough, but if we can just save one life, if we can just prevent one death, it was worth it. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not true. It wasn't worth it. You know, what we are supposed to do in public health is walk that fine line between doing everything we can to mitigate suffering, to mitigate disease, to limit the number of deaths, but at the same time take into effect the impact that it has on the public, meaning all the rest of us. So if you aren't, unfortunately, in a position as an authority or as an expert to decimate the entire economy in order to save one life. It simply doesn't work that way. As you said, in Riverside County so far, we've had 19 deaths from coronavirus. So we have shut down an entire county because there are 19 deaths. We've had 3 times more deaths in Riverside County from influenza this year. And we didn't do anything about that, and that's a typical year. You know, we have that many deaths from influenza. So this is just spun out of control. It remains wildly out of proportion to the actual risk to individuals. And this is a case where the cure and the result of the shutdown are going to so far outweigh and be so much worse than the actual toll of the virus itself that it's just stunning.
We got a couple minutes left, but I want to get your quick take on this one. New York City, you know, we know that, 4,000 deaths, ground zero for this, Up in Oregon, we ran the video last night, Oregon Public Broadcasting, Dr. Richardson's in charge of a veterans hospital. A 104-year-old World War II veteran survived coronavirus to celebrate his 104th birthday. Now, I don't know exactly. The facility looks big. I'm going to say there's 100 or 200 people in there. All of this, Dr. Richardson said in the video, they're all older. They have medical conditions. They would be like prime A number 1 candidates, to be on the danger list. And he predicted 30% death rate when this started in that facility. So what was it? Maybe 30 to 60, depending on how many were in there. 16 of them caught coronavirus. Only 2 have died. 8 have recovered, including the 104-year-old World War II veteran. Now, what is the difference between... And Oregon is sending out... it was a big deal. Oregon sending out ventilators and stuff. What is the difference between Lebanon, Oregon, and New York City, and why? What we should be asking is, what did they do right in Lebanon, Oregon, and what the heck's going on in New York?
Well, I don't think, I hate to say it, but I don't think that what happened in Lebanon was a result of something that they, quote, did. I suspect what happened in that facility is that other viruses in other years have gone around. Those people live in relatively close contact, and that the people there, they probably had already seen, their bodies have seen a virus similar to this coronavirus, and they had at least partial immunity to it. So I suspect those people already had seen a virus had gone through there. A bunch of them already had partial immunity. And so if they became sick, they didn't become particularly sick. Their bodies were able to fight it off, and they didn't succumb. Now, New York City is very, very different. Number one, people live on top of one another. The public transportation, people come from all over the place. They get exposed to lots of things. There's tremendous amount of international travel. And so it's a very, very different population. And they may, the people who have been succumbing in New York clearly hadn't been exposed to this virus in the past, didn't appear to have significant natural immunity. But the problem with the national response, Roy, is that we are treating every town and city and state as if it's New York City. And it's not. We are treating, there are places all over this country that have seen nary a case, or where people are naturally more spread out because of the nature of the rural communities in which they live. So instead, this is not something where we should be taking a one-size-fits-all approach. What might be right for New York City or, downtown New Orleans doesn't necessarily play out in rural Wyoming or in, someplace in the heartland. So I think there are a couple different things at play here, but what you see at a place like up in the Pacific Northwest in a nursing home where a 104-year-old guy can recover, it's likely because, like many of us, in his 104 years, believe me, he was around. There's a guy who was around during not only SARS and H1N1, but here's a guy who was around back when the original Spanish flu was out in 1918. So these people, and that's the beauty of the immune system. He may well have been exposed to that as a young child and had immunity, therefore, to this coronavirus.
Facts, not fear, from Dr. Kelly Victory. We'll have you on later on in the weekend because I'm sure there's going to be more stuff to talk about on this. Thanks for being on with Stephanie and Roy.
Absolutely.
Bye, Dr. Kelly.
Take care.
You too. You know what I think it's time for?
What?
Another giveaway, since you messed it up earlier. You play more on that one. Completely. Anyways, really quick before we start talking about everything she said, because there was a lot of great stuff in there too, and some comments if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook. Also check it out on our YouTube channel at
Newswire.
I love throwing stuff at you. It's fun. Anyways, our disclaimer is posted in the comments and also on our page. No same winner for 2 weeks. So Brandon, you won the first round, so you're out for 2 weeks. Sorry, buddy. No family or relatives of this show or ABC KMET are allowed to win. Lucy Mom, sorry. Okay, so our next question is, you want to ask it?
No.
First person to comment in wins a $5 gift card to Chili's, and we need your full name, mailing address, and phone number. I will contact you after the show. Do not put it in the comment section, please. The next trivia question is, who is our main sponsor? First person to comment in will win the $5 Chili's gift card. Good luck.
There you go. Couldn't have picked an easier question than that, but
I know.
But no, we want to give this stuff away because we want to support the businesses like Chili's.
Thank you, Chili's, for giving us
and all of our local businesses out there that are just having a tough time over this stuff on that. And as Dr. Victory said, there's going to be a lot of long-term things that we're going to talk about, like I was talking about as I start off the first of the show with on this stuff of doing that. But there's the immediate effect of that. I saw one study that says, I don't know if it was California or something, but of the 50,000 restaurants, they're expecting 15,000 of them are not going to reopen after this. They're just, they're either going to be broke, can't, whatever, lost their employees, or can't, lost the business or whatever on the deal. So again, it's going to be,
and we have a winner for our
good. We have who won
our trivia, Lorraine Dean. Good job!
Congratulations, Lorraine! Yay! Got that. There we go. Yeah, we'll be rolling that out, and any businesses that want to donate some little, you don't have to donate much. We're not looking for anything big, but if you want to donate a gift certificate or something,
and that's where it's like just to do a little trivia.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get our city involved and kind of do some Moreno Valley trivia questions. It's always fun.
Yeah, we'll do your Inland Empire all across the board on that. We'll do that, like who was Moreno Valley named after?
Oh, there was 2 people, right?
Don't give it away.
Well, I'm not going to really pick that question anyways, but was it right? Well, now I want to know. I think it was. Anyways.
Did that? No, it's just getting too. There isn't enough time, but yeah, it's a very interesting video that it is of the nurse that touches. The touches her, puts paint on her gloves.
And there's a hand washing one too, and it's amazing. You see how much you don't get when you wash your hands.
Yes,
it's scary.
Of all this stuff. So again, I hope Dr. Kaiser will. Or their staff will come on and answer the questions and stuff. Because I think it was a legitimate question, because the answer I got back, well, he would have had to take the gloves out, turn them on inside out, and ask, well, what? What if he's got gloves on and he touches his face and he touches the kid's lunch? What difference does it make if I touch my hand like this, like I'm very prone to do, and then I touch the kid's lunch?
No.
And I have coronavirus,
Don't touch me.
which this guy had. And voila, what difference does it make on that if he's grabbing? And it was really a good illustration on the video on the cell phone, of that. You're seeing all the points of where, that she's touching her face, touching the cell phone, going do, doing grabbing grabbing this, grabbing that, it's amazing how much contact you're. That's what I'm saying. I mean, what other than a lot of the stuff that's going on what again, not me. I mean, I'm hearing it from Kelly Victory and a lot of other physicians of doing that, like the physician in LA, and we don't have time to run the video, but he's treating them with the hydrochloride and zinc and saying his patients are curing in 8 to 12 hours from coronavirus. But he said the key to it's a combination of putting the zinc with the hydrochloride, and voila, he runs a clinic down in LA, and voila, people are getting cured right and left. So I don't know. I mean, there's all this stuff that's going on out there back and forth, and we are, I don't think it's a deal of where you're going on the deal. I don't know. I just make it make sense.
I think people are they're panicking. Like that thing on Facebook. It's like you can totally tell this book was edited a little bit. I mean, she kind of had that one I sent you over the weekend. Yes. She predicted this to go around. Yeah. And she did say it's going to leave as quick as it came. But people edit it to where it made it sound like it's like going to be the end of the world. Oh. I mean, that's terrifying.
Is he on or?
No, he just wanted you to remind you people that go to the grocery store that touch everything.
Yeah. Hi, Ann. Oh, she's not mad at me. Sorry, I just like hitting your son sometimes.
Yes, I explained to her you were using the...
I still love him, but it's just, I mean, I can't help it.
Yes. No, she thought you were hitting me with the engineer scale over there.
Never.
That Jesse,
I would think
I said
about
you
it,
confuse it when Jesse was wanting to arm her with the ruler, but
he actually did throw it at me to beat him with it, and I said no. And then we were going to do the duct tape before the show. We were plotting, but then we just decided to not do anything. I'm going to do that on Wednesday. We were going to highlight Legal Shield. Go online tonight and check it out. We're going to do it Wednesday because I'm not going to have enough time to go over it. But for those of you that might be interested,
maybe you
go
need
to Legal
come in
Shield.
Tuesday. We got too much stuff to do here.
We do because you talk too much. I can't get to the
That's
things
not a news flash.
I can't get to the things we're supposed to discuss.
Yeah, that's not a news.
Hey, I'm just excited your mom said hi to me. I'm back in. Kicked out so quickly.
It was a fun show.
It was
good to get you back. Hopefully we'll be returning. All of us will be returning to normal operations real soon, sooner than later. As that,
we're gone. Wow, that went fast.